Guys, welcome back. D7R TV, I'm Carl, as you may already know. Hopefully you've been following along on some of our videos that we put up. Today we're back on the Integra. We went and sent a set of sill profiles off to go and get fabricated, so hopefully we'll get them back soon. They're going to be laser cut, press braked, and hopefully they should be the right dimensions, so make our job a little bit easier, so we can have full length sills welded instead of bits of 600mm long like we've mentioned before. We've got the car running sweet, so that's another job off the list. Today we'll be showing you the inside of the car and the sills from the inside. So yeah, I'm not quite feeling it today. I'm that cold I can hardly function, so bear with me, I'll do my best. But yeah, we're going to show you what it's like behind the rear plastics and in the boot and some of the other problem areas that you may come across. So stay tuned. Right, so here we have the boot. It looks like it's been damp before. Bit of surface water sat in the boot for a while and took away the top layer of paint and started to rust. But it's not too bad, it's only surface, so we can strip that back with a wire wheel and rust convert it, then zinc primer, so we're back to solid again. Here's the problem areas down these corners. As you can see down there. We usually have to cut these out and replace them, but we'll get the wire wheel on there and see how far they're gone. So if they go through, we'll just repair it and cut them out. But yeah, this car is not that bad. It might look bad, but it's not. Trust me, I've seen enough of them. That down there is pretty much surface. Down here is pretty decent. Might be able to get away with just stripping that back and rust converting and zinc priming, but as I said, we usually cut them out. Behind the bumper, now it's been removed, which is about 4 or 5 bolts, but it was half done anyway, so it's sort of no point in showing you that because you're not going to pick up on the whole picture. Usually we have to cut these sections out because they're usually rotten through. These are good. You usually have to make these sections from scratch. Down here, behind the boot, this section needs stripping back. Again, just some surface rust and a bit of bubbling, so we'll be able to rust convert that. This section's decent. Might need a little bit of work, but yeah, nowhere near as bad as they usually are. As I say, we usually have to make these sections here and they're a bit of a pain. But overall, yeah, she's decent. So, right then. There's no door handle, so we have to improvise. Interior plastics are out. There's a few plastic posi drive screws. Couple of 10mm, and hey presto, they pop out. I don't know if you can see too much because the light's not great in here. Inside of here is where they hide a lot of the rust. Usually there's big holes there, but that's not too bad. We'll be able to get that from the outside when we cut the outer arch panel out, and we'll probably be able to repair this, to be fair. Yeah, so they're decent. They're not awful. Yeah, so these are the places you want to check if you can and keep an eye on them. When we weld new panels in, I don't know what's going on here. Looks like that's been their spot weld, so that's been repaired before this side has. But being that the panel doesn't look like it's been cut out, it looks like they've probably tack welded the panel over the top of the other panel, which is beautiful work. There's a little bit down here starting to fall. That'll be cut out. So yeah, this isn't the best example, but if you go on my Instagram page, there'll be some pictures of the other ones we've done, so we'll give you an idea of what a really rusty one looks like. So down here on the sills, the inner flitches, as I like to call them, these usually need cutting out. These are decent. Inside of there is decent. Well, the main work we need to do on this car is the floors towards the front, and there's a bit underneath at the back, but it's still a lot of work, but it's nowhere near as bad as they usually are, which I think the customers dodged a bullet with that. So we have to pull the carpets up. Another problem area is down here. The rear bench seat sits here. So this section at the front, there's a hole there that looks man-made for some reason. Looks like someone's probably put a screw through it or something. It started to rust around it. My camera skills ain't the best today. Sort of struggling a little bit. I don't think I've got man flu coming, but there's another bit down there. So that'll be cut out and welded. But we'll have to remove the carpet anyway, so we can get down the front and sort the problem areas at the front out. So, apart from that, that's pretty much everything we need to sort out. So, it's almost time to start cutting. Winning! Right, so, now we've got the panel butted up to the car, we can sort of see what we need to do and what we need to get rid of, what we need to trim, and all that jazz. So, I know we're not going to be using this section here, so I'll mark that out and get rid of that. This line's slightly on the piss, but that's nothing that we can't sort out. It's only a sort of guide anyway, but main focus is trying to get this bottom profile married up so it sits sort of straight. And there's probably about a 20mm overhang on here we can cut out, because we're going to be going across the bottom of the original sill. We're cutting out the rest of the arch so this panel can sit further up, and then we've got an idea of how we eventually want it to sit, so we can mark it out and cut it accordingly. So let's get to it. Okay, so now we've trimmed all that up, I've done some more marking for where I want to cut, because sometimes they're up behind this point, we don't need it, so we can trim that panel off, and you can already see that it's starting to sit a lot better to the car. You're going to trim this across here. This will have to be folded up a touch, this inner lip, which isn't a problem. This line sits a little bit better now. It sits flush to the car, so I'm comfortable now to mark this out, and then this is what we're going to be cutting to. And we need to cut the outer panel out to repair the inner panel. So it doesn't matter how nice your outer panel is, if your inner panel's gone, you need to cut the outer panel out. Makes sense? It should do. It's not rocket science, but that's the way it works. So yeah, we'll mark out this now. Remember to cut inside the line you're doing, otherwise you're not going to, you're going to be out on your cut. So there's about 20 mil on this back edge that I want to be cutting out as well. So if you can get your marker pen up there, which I can't at the minute, but when I trim this out it'll make it a little bit easier for me. I've used the part of the bottom which I cut out before, so to make sure it's the right height, I've got this profile here married up, then I've marked that out there, so I can make a mark there. Then if I can make a mark here, I can draw across a line across there, and that's going to be somewhere near where we need to cut, so I'll undercut it and then retrim it afterwards to suit. So let's get to it.
Bigger boy.
Throw me up against the wall, put me up against the wall. Move your body slow, up and down, baby, let's go. From the bedroom to the floor, let's on the patio. Kissing everybody, real sweet. I got a lollipop, boy, it feels like ecstasy. How long is a mystery, baby, I know our history. Pull it down and kiss me. In the corner of the show, they rewind the video. Weaving in the drop top, 9 to 5 miles stop, baby, baby, kiss me. Oh, you need to touch me. That's the place to take me. Boy, you know I'm waiting. Baby, baby, kiss me. Oh, you need to touch me. That's the place to take me. Boy, you know I'm waiting. Skip the bill, let's go straight. Come for dessert, don't be late. Hold my head, rub my neck, grab these hips just like that. Baby, give me more, baby, give me plenty. Here's what I got in store.
So now we've marked out the rest of this, now it's all trimmed back. It sits rather nice now. Puts back up to my line that I put in. I took probably 15 mil off there, there's probably still more to go, about another 10 mil or so to cut off the bottom. So it's time to take this off. I think my original line I drew here will be pretty close to where we need it to be. So now we've got a trim around this line here. Well, I'll put a line in, but around this section, and trim inside the line here, and then it should marry up pretty nice then. Once this is out, you can see the state of the inside, and we'll repair the inner arch. There's a bit of sealant there, you don't want to be weld anywhere near that, so that's got to go, otherwise you'll be on fire. We don't do fires here. So you need to trim a little tiny bit off there, it's about 5 mil. But once this piece is out, we're keeping this section here because it's original and it's where the bumper sits to. And that is pretty much the dating point we want to be using. I mean, we haven't had the luxury to do it on some of the other tags that we've done, but we have on this one, so we're going to utilise that. So cut along the inside line, don't cut above, otherwise you're going to be trying to source a complete rear panel, because unless Aaron makes a higher profile replacement panel, you're buggered, and you don't want to be buggered. Okay, ready to see what's behind the panel? So it looks pretty decent in there, to be fair. I mean, this is just all surface rust, so that can all be cleaned back. So I don't really have to chop that out. This is a bit unnecessary. Usually you have to chop all that out and start from scratch. All this is just surface, so yeah. Strip it back, rust convert it, zinc prime it. Then all inside every one of these will be removed. And then it'll be filled with cavity wax. So that'll protect it for the long run. And so there ain't nothing we can do about these sills apart from chop them out and replace them. So when they come winning, it's not too bad. Here's the arch. So you can see she started to go through, started to rust out. It's pretty bad at the back here, but it's one of the cleanest inner arches I've seen on one of these. We need to cut this section out here so we can get to that bit and we can use the escort replacement panels. So we'll cut across there and then weld them in with a lip. Clean all up there because that's still solid. This is just sealant, so we'll strip all that back. And yeah, job's a good one. Right, so I've got a wire brush on the inner arch. I just cleaned up pretty damn well, to be honest. Can't get a wire wheel in there because space constraints. But yeah, that is literally just surface rust. So the rust converter will work its magic on that. There's not all too much to cut out on the inner arch, to be fair, because that's all solid metal and it's not gone on the inside either, so that's a win. Finished the arch, so we've got a nice clean bit of metal to weld to. There's a bit of filler that's gone on in this section here from one reason or another. That story may never be told, but it won't be the first bit of filler that'll be put in here when we put the arches in. So yeah, it's coming together nicely. Winning! Right, that's all trimmed up now. So as you can see, this is really, really close. Just there you want it to be. There's a nice little gap so you can weld into. That sits a bit proud there. I still need to trim this piece off here. And my line's pretty much bang on at the bottom, which I need to cut off. So yeah, that's the importance of not trimming too much and trimming inside the line, because then it's just trim accordingly. And that's close up there. So there's a bit of trimming there. And this needs to be folded up a little tiny bit. A little bit of trimming here, but that is pretty damn close, if I may say so myself. Once this is done, I can start treating the inside. I'm happy with the outside, so this panel can be zinc primed once I've squared this bit away and got it to the shape I want it. So we can zinc prime all that, trim the rest of it down. We can then treat the inside behind the panel. Pop that off here. Excuse me. Yeah, so we'll get the rust converter in there and zinc it all so it's all solid. It won't rust through again. We'll treat all this here because that's not too bad. We'll try and get rid of this sill section all down there and repair all that. This doesn't need too much chopping out, and the new inner lips putting on. There's not all that much. That'll be welded back to this panel here to keep the strength and stop any flex in the rear quarter. So yeah, got to be happy with that. As I said, this is one of the better ones we've done, and you might think it looks bad, but believe me, they get a lot worse than this. So there you have it. Right, so I think that's enough for today before I freeze to death and can't bring you any more of these insightful videos. Hope you're following along and enjoying the content we're trying to put out. I know I make these things look easy, but take your time. Time is of the essence. I don't show everything because I'll be on the floor most of the time measuring and marking stuff out. I've done a few of these cars, so I try and make things as simple as possible and try and make things readable. I know what to expect 9 times out of 10. Sometimes I get a bit of a shock, but I try and still put that in. I try and keep things entertaining and, as I say, insightful. So I hope you're still with us and you're enjoying the videos. Please comment. I know a lot of people haven't commented. I mean, I've got hundreds of views on some of my videos and there's not many comments. Please keep it nice. I'm not too bad. So yeah, please like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Helps me bring in more work. Tell me what you want to see, if I'm being clear or not. Just help me out and I'll try and help you out. And yeah, see you on the next one.